I'm Varnado, one of the founders of the Black Student Union. I came here in 1963. I had never been in a classroom with a white student. I had never seen an Asian person. I had never seen a Latinx person, not in my whole life, because I grew up in Magnolia, Mississippi. That is like a concentration camp at that time, in the 40s and the 50s. So when I came here, I was standing in that long line that you have when you register, and I could never have thought this. The only person that I met, and we became lifelong friends, standing in line with me, was the future Minister of Education of the Black Panther Party, George Mason Murray, and myself, one of the founders of the Black Student Union. We never ever thought about that. We were thinking about how to get enough food to eat. So as time went by, we began to become members of the Negro Student Association, which was an outgrowth from the Civil Rights Movement. We felt that we had to do something in order to support the Civil Rights Movement. So after a period of time, Mariana Wadi came on board. She was, I think, the first chairman of the Black Student Union. She was very difficult, but she held us accountable. She held everybody accountable, and I loved her for that. And she's still a great person. So as time went by, we began to think about redefining ourselves. Like we didn't want to be Negroes anymore, because as people of color, we have been darkies, coons, all of the other things that you can possibly think of. So after this period of time, other people came forward, and in 1965, Garrett came to the campus. I was living at the fraternity house at that time. Any Alpha Phi Alpha people out there? And so Garrett kept after me to spend more time with the Black Student Union. I didn't want to do it. All I wanted to do was go to school, get a degree, and get out of here. I didn't want to go to jail like I had to. Like any of you all been to jail? As Mike Tyson said, that's not a place you want to be. So that's not what I wanted. I wanted to get out of here, get a job, and stuff like that, but that's not the way life played out. So Garrett kept after me. So when we finally decided on a new name for the organization, it became the Black Student Union. That's who we were. And there was big fights that went on. People felt that we should keep the name and that we were too radical, that we were like what we call, some of you, mother country radicals. We were way too radical. So we finally changed the name, and we began to set forth a new course. First, we wanted to bring in more black students onto the campus as students. Now, most black students were afraid to come out to San Francisco State. That included me. I had this inferiority complex. I would go back to the back of the class and sit because I thought white kids knew more than me, until I found out later that was not true. And you couldn't get people from Hunters Point to leave Hunters Point to come out to San Francisco State. I'm gonna move along faster. So as we move forward, I ran for student council, lost, and I agreed to help write our mission statement for the Black Student Union. Garrett and Mariam left San Francisco State, and a new group was in charge from then on because we had elections, and Benny Stewart was the new chairman. I don't know why he would want to be that, because nobody else did. And you know, you take a poll and say, who wants to be chairman? Not me, man. You know, so as time went by, we had more and more students, black students, and there was one situation where the student newspaper criticized Muhammad Ali for not going into the military. So we couldn't let that stand. So we had a little meeting, and we sent a crew up there. That's what it would be called today. That's what those rappers call it. We sent a crew up there, and some are very famous people. And then they beat up the editor of the newspaper, and they beat up everybody in the room. One hit the editor with the right cross, and the right cross knocked him down under his seat, out his side. So then we were known as hooligans, as violent people, and we were violent. If you came around and you wanted to work against us, you had deep trouble. Deep trouble. We're not going to let that lay. You know, then as time went by, we became, every black person on campus became a member of the Black Student Union, and people would help out each other. Like my wife worked in the cafeteria, so when the athletes would come through there, they would be hungry, and she would take patties of meat and put it under the bread whenever she served them, which meant that like they got just a little bit more. And they always remembered this. They remember it to this day. Nobody had to tell her to do that. Nobody. So we moved forward. I want to move forward to the strike. The strike was very, very, very violent, and there was no other way that it could be. I don't know any other way it could be because we were under attack. And when we got all our forces together, and all the troops, in terms of the Third World Liberation Front, we were hell to deal with. Very, 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 very difficult. Let's see if I have anything else to say here. We're going to get to the settlement of the strike and the Hayakawa years a little later today. But there was also, I'm missing a point, there was also the black soldiers who came out of the military who came here, used the GI Bill to get an education, and I don't want to forget the black fraternities and sororities. They were the ones who helped start the strike. They came to us and they said, the college won't let us use facilities, but they let the white fraternities use it. So that was something we had to do something about. But I want to say this before I leave. About 7 or 8 years ago, I asked Dr. Ken Montero, I asked him, I said, like, why aren't there any classrooms that have our name on it? Why aren't there any classrooms that have Black Student Union, Third World Liberation Front? And I was told that you have to purchase these things. Well, over at Merritt, they have a lounge called the Huey Newton Bobby Seale Lounge. At least you know that Huey and Bobby came through there. There's nothing on this campus that shows that we ever been here. Nothing. You know, we talk about it, but there should be rooms everywhere on the campus that say, that's the Black Student Union room, that's the TWLF room, that is this room and that room. And I want to leave you with that. Thank you.
We do not have easy times to look forward to in the coming weeks. Will you boost up the PA system, please? You have here, ladies and gentlemen, a perfect example of the kind of tactics of intimidation and suppression of freedom of speech that are ruining this college. Yes, they are afraid to let me talk. Go and sit down. Off the stage. Hold on.
College supporters will get off the stage if you gentlemen will. If the police are removed from this place...
The police will not be removed from this place so long as you are around. I want you to understand.
Do you need police on an academic environment?
Yes, we do.
Do you need police on an academic environment? Why are the police needed? Why are the police needed? Why do you need policemen here?
Because of you, Mr. Hare.
Why do you need police? Black people and other third world people's lives and stake of and this person's up here talking about...
I am proud to be the president and therefore the servant of these true professionals who are the strength and the heart of San Francisco State College. For these courageous teachers and for the work they do for their equally courageous and dedicated students, I solemnly resolve to keep this college open and functioning no matter what it takes and whom I shall have to fight. Nathan Hare, you get the hell out of here.
Down with the puppet.
Nathan Hare, you get the hell out of here.
I'm not in here.
Come on. Out.
Tell the truth.
You coward. You guys are all cowards.
Why are you shaking?
He is afraid. These people are afraid to let me speak.
These gentlemen are placed under arrest at this time.